ourselves on broadcasting.
We're Masters Radio, an online music community that is finding ways to enjoy and support the master artists who created the soundtracks to our lives. We can show that musicians on our platform will benefit from increased exposure, engagement, healthcare, and other benefits, fundraising, and growth opportunities, empowering them to thrive. Today, I am thrilled to be joined by a true legend of power metal, Markus Grosskopf, founding bassist of Helloween.
Hi,
Markus,
everybody. All right, my pleasure.
yeah. He has spent the last 40 years redefining the bass role in metal, selling over 10 million records, and now fueling the band's new album, Giants and Monsters, which I believe is due August 29th. It is available for pre-order. We'll have links in the show notes.
Yep, coming out soon.
Here,
And I played the amazing, that tune, the amazing bass. It's
yes,
kind of the amazing grace. I'll
that's
do
right.
the amazing bass.
We're going to get into that. We've got kind of an interesting past. Some folks that you've worked with before have been on our podcast as well. In Metal Edge, back like a couple years ago, you reflected on what you called 40 years of power metal mayhem. I love that, since Walls of Jericho. So, records. What's
Yes.
from those early tours, those early days, still give you goosebumps?
Yeah, it's just like being on stage. It's still the same. I mean, I tell you what, a lot of things in rock and roll, a lot of things in the music business, in the scene, it changed a lot from 100%. Like I'm doing this interview like we're doing here. It wasn't there before. We had to fly out to go to the radio stations and to the magazines, and now you have a lot of internet. Business to do and all that kind of stuff. Recording business changed a lot, 100%, and everything was changing. It was just a few magazines from in the early days and a few stations, and you had to visit them to get promoted by them, and everything kind of the whole communication changed, the whole way of doing a record changed. Which is cool. We can use it, and if for ourselves to make things easier for us. And but I'll tell you what, one thing that never changed, uh, and it will never change. It will be going out there playing live. And that very, very second, you watch the people in the eye. And if you do a wrong note, you cannot redo it just like that. It's there forever. But this feeling, this change of energy. I mean, the audience and the band, you can feel that energy. And in that very second, it happens. That never changed. There's no digital kind of thing or reason that can change that directly feeling with the audience. And that's good. I like that a lot, and that keeps me going.
That I've heard that a lot. We're of a certain age. If you've been qualified to be an artist on Masters Radio, it means you're first hit with 20 years or so or more.
Yeah.
In cases, you have 40 years in this game, and I hear over and over again with the people we've had the podcast that it's getting out there on stage is what keeps you young.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely the thing that grabs people directly in the heart, and it's coming from the stomach. It's no digital kind of stuff you have to do. There's no help. I mean, that you got in ears. We don't need that big cabinets anymore. Even that sound kind of technical stuff changed. But that very moment, it can never be changed, and it's brilliant.
First of all, bless you for using in-ear monitors. I had truly
Yeah,
it was the pleasure to be in front of Tracy Guns of LA Guns
yeah.
when he played a little club a mile or so from my house.
All right.
She's 12 feet from his Marshall stack, and I
Yeah.
think my ears are still ringing from back in May.
Yeah, I mean, I was using two Ampex stacks all the time. I mean, I before there was like, and those Ampex stacks are actually made for in the 70s or even in the 60s when there weren't even PA systems. So they were actually created to give to fill a whole venue sound. and I had two of them on stage every time. It was a real, it was a little overdone, and they start sounding very good when they're on a certain level, you know. But we don't need that anymore. We have like the in ears, and we have the guy. You tell them, oh, this louder, this lower. Give me some audience. It's brilliant. Everywhere you go, you have the same sound. You have it on a stick. You take that stick to Japan. You have the same desk that you order there. Put your stick in, you get your sound that you had last week in America or somewhere else on the globe.
It has gotten in some ways easier. I was speaking
Yeah,
with
yeah, definitely.
some of the guys in Foghat, and while they used to drive around in a bus when they toured the United States, and we'll get to that with you guys in a minute,
Yeah,
now it's an airplane because he flies to his gig. There's a back line that's rented, and
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
maybe that's a guitar or two, but other
Yeah,
than that, you know,
yeah. Well, you don't take the whole show to America. You rent a lot of stuff over there. Even if we go to South and North America, we don't even print T-shirts in Germany and then taking them over. That will that will cost a lot of taxes, you know, especially right now.
especially right now. Yes, yes, I
we we
can
we
see
we
that.
we have companies in America. And we tell them we need that and that many shirts. We go over, pick them up, you know. So we don't. So we even save cargo. That's the way you do it. That's, you know. It's just like a business way of thinking, but it's working, you know.
It absolutely is. Yeah, and speaking of long tours in America, I read an
Yeah.
article
Yeah.
that reminded
Mhm.
me. I think it was you who was talking about how large everything is in America.
It is, you know, you start here, I mean, and you end over there, and then it's like more than a year. Then you can start here again, you know. And nobody would really. I mean, in Germany, you tour, do a couple of gigs, or in Europe, but in America, there's so many bands, and everything is very, very big. You can travel and travel. You could, if you would like to, you could never stop tour. You would never stop touring, and still being in venues, in different venues everywhere every night. You know,
And I think
that's kind
Blue
of
Oyster Cult is
fantastic.
proving that very point. Yes,
Yeah,
but
it's kind of fantastic. But you know, for us, it's like we tour a lot in Europe, we tour a lot in South America, Asia. We do America like 30 shows or something. You know, we do it with a bus, we do it with a plane, we do it whatever takes us there. You know, I would
mhm.
swim there.
Painful swim. It reminded me when I was 19 years old, I had the opportunity to meet with U2 at their first U.S. tour, and
All
most of
right.
them were age. And I asked them what they thought of working in America, playing in America, and the big word they said was big.
Yeah.
Just right
America,
in this
I mean,
country. Yeah.
that is where the blues was born, you know, and everybody knows about rock and roll. Even you go in a bar on the day off, you go out for a dinner. There's in each and every bar there's some blues and rock music going on, some Wishbone Ash or whatsoever. Some Scorpions are playing, or some Rory Gallagher will be in the background. And you talk to very old dudes, you know, they all know about Scorpions, they all know about Rory Gallagher, they all know about rock music, and it's rock and roll, you know. They just know because they've been grown up with it, and that's kind of cool. It's something different than in Germany. Everybody knows fucking Schlager music, you know, but your Schlager in America is more the blues, you know,
Right.
and that's what I kind of like a lot.
Although we don't have very many blues polkas.
No, but the music, the way of you listen to music and the way you do your songs with country and blues and rock and roll, it's you don't have that Schlager business going on, which is kind of boring for me. But you got much more cool music with the blues and all that, even gospel type of music and Motown and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's just more interesting than listening to Schlager anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. The diversity of American music, and to extent
Yeah, yeah.
around the world as a
Yeah.
result, is
Mhm.
speaking of changing things up musically. I've seen a number of various Reddit threads on metal talking about how you sort of get beyond the just playing root note eighths on the bass and really doing interesting things with the bass guitar. Um, how do you transform, say, your basic metal riff into something that surprises you as well as the listeners?
Yeah, it's like you got to. It's always a fine line. You don't want to overdo it when there's like a killer chorus line to be sung. Uh, then you don't want to destroy it with too many bass notes, but you still want to. keep the song interesting in a way. Like my influences are John Entwistle, Geezer Butler, and Steve Harris, and people, Geddy Lee, people like this, you know. And I try to keep it very interesting, but then I have to take care not uh, to overplay the song, not to play too many notes at the same time, because the ear is only uh, 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 capable of catching a melody, and then it should be, of course, the chorus line in the chorus or something. And yeah, I'm trying to do my best. I'm getting better every day.
Yeah, after 40 years, you're starting to get good at it, are you? Yeah. Giants and Monsters now pushes you guys into your fifth decade. You've been 40 years at
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Um,
wondering how
so,
old I am now.
well, you're right. I listened to the
Uh,
record. You mentioned a band earlier that I
yeah.
celebrate some
Yeah.
influences.
It was funny when you realize when you do interviews, they tell you it's your 17th record. I didn't even know about before I started interviewing. As far as I started being interviewed, they tell me, and I was just like, "Fuck, you're right. I'm here for so long, and still doing the same kind of shebang, you know." And I was talking to my father recently. He says, "Well, remember, we're 20 years old back. He had to pick me. He picked me up surprisingly on the airport when I came from America and Asia with the whole family, you know, opening a bottle. The boy is back in town." And it's so many years ago, you know, from the Keeper tours.
Wonderful.
And
Yeah.
and that was when my father was even 20 years younger than I was now,
Yeah.
than I am now, you know.
Right.
We
Right.
talked
Yeah.
about this and we had a laugh.
Yeah, it is indeed timeless. That said, you've got some fans who are accustomed to a Helloween sort of sound, and I've
Yeah,
listened to
yeah.
this record, and there's some different stuff on here. What do you think is going to be the songs and the new album that resonate the most with listeners? And they're not able to hear it mostly yet, except through
Yeah,
the.
it's very hard to say because as Halloween, we were fighting hard to be allowed to do a very big range of music like Dr. Steen, Hour and Out. Then you have like Rise and Fall, but still having songs like Ride the Sky and stuff like this, and Eagle Fly Free and Guardians, and all that stuff combined together is that's Halloween. So I would say the variety is there. What you can say, what you can Halloween divine with, it's just like the totally different stuff we're doing on one album, and we just do it. If we think this rock song is a cool rock song, we just record it, you know. And you can only satisfy people if you're if you self are satisfied with the results, you know. And I think that happens to Halloween a lot.
And it makes sense that it does. First of all,
Yeah,
there's a lot of you. It's a seven
yeah,
piece band.
yeah.
That's got a lot of creative influence. Does it ever lead to like contention?
Sorry.
Did it ever lead
It's
to any sort of conflict or contention as who?
Well, there is a lot of talking, there is a lot of discussions. Of course, we have like five songwriters, six songwriters in the band, and of course, there's very different opinions about what the record should be and how the record should sound. But then, in the end of the day, we have all those discussions, and it's hard discussions. If you got to swallow your ego when your song's not on, you know, like I did now. But then in the end of the day, you have to be a team player, being in Halloween with seven other characters, you know. And it's not going to make it easy having even two more persons coming in, like we have with Kai and Michael, having even more uh, decision. Ideas about what the music should be, but in the end of the day, we have a killer record, so it's all worth it. It just it's just making the process longer, but it's a creative process, and it's okay like this, you know, getting somebody on the throat saying "fuck off," but in the end of the day, it's working, you know, and we can still have a laugh, and we can still tour, we can still find the record great no matter what songs are on it, just because I played them all with the bass. It's all my babies too, you know.
That is true. Yeah, any part of you contributing makes it your song.
Yeah, yeah,
Speaking of pieces on the parts of the song, there's is that keyboard in a little too little is too much.
yeah.
Is somebody
What was it? What was it?
playing a keyboard
Yeah.
in too little too much, or a little
Yeah,
is a little too much. I can't speak.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question? This keyboard or what?
Yeah. Who's the keyboards on a little is a little too much?
Who does them? I think it's Matthias Ohm. We used him years and years ago for many records, and then he's not really a live musician. He's kind of making arrangements for bands. He's kind of making good arrangements for us too, you know. And Andy's got this great ideas and
Mhm.
putting it down to tape, and then I don't know if it's Andy sounds or the sounds from Mr. Ohm, but normally he's doing a lot of stuff for us. That Matthias Ohm and well, Andy has some great killer ideas for his song. If I write a song, you won't hear any keyboard note on it because I'm not so keen on doing stuff. I mean, I give it to the guys, and if they want to add some keyboards to it, it's fine. But I don't have that ideas. I go for the guitars and the bass and the riffing and the chorus line and the vocals. I have enough to do with that. But yeah, you know.
I'm a keyboard player myself, and
All right. Yeah, if you play keyboards, you would probably see things different. And there would I could easily put some carpets here and there, but it wouldn't make it more interesting. I leave that
that's right.
to people who are playing the keyboards. In the end of the day, they have better ideas than I have. So that way, it's going to be a more clever arrangement with the keyboards, you know?
I do. What I remember was when I
Mm.
walked the keyboard
Yeah,
player who said, "You keep hand in your pocket."
yeah. Uh-huh.
He wanted me out of his way. Yeah, and I
I
keyboard
leave it
players
up to people
love
who
me.
can really play the keyboard. They got different ideas from what I have.
But it really needs to leave, particularly for a bass player like you. There needs to be room in that low register for you to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
and
yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a place for each bass player in any band. And I'm lucky that I'm the only bass player here. We got three guitars players, we got two singers. I wouldn't give my job away.
That's right. So you recorded this record in Visa Lord, I think is how it's said.
Yeah, well, we recorded in very, very different studios. It's been mixed and mastered in this Lord. So we recorded some the drum parts in some South German studio. I recorded the bass here in my Shockhouse studio. Kai recorded at his place, and so on. You know, in Tenerife Island there was some recordings, and you know, it's been the combination of a whole lot of Europe places, and then it came together on a server where they put it all together. You know, it's just working. It's just one hell of a of a possibility to do a record, you know, without coming back from a tour, having a month off, and then going back into the rehearsal room or studio and creating the songs. Other you would never be at home again.
Yeah, that's right. It's gotten that part's gotten easier as well as the traveling you
Yeah, yeah.
spoke of
Mhm.
earlier. It's
So,
gotten a
so we
lot
use
easier to work
so
from
we
home.
use that yeah, yeah. So we use that digital possibilities for to make our lives easier, you know. And it works, as you can hear.
Absolutely does. I seem to remember you come up with songs like in the shower and stuff like that, and read
Yeah,
sing
yeah,
them.
yeah, genau. That's it. That's it.
We turned into a full song with things
Yeah.
like AI.
Mhm.
How do you foresee seeing that you've been in this for 40 years, so you've seen how the business has changed?
Yeah.
The impact of things like AI music production might have on.
I don't know. We never gonna use it for like writing songs or something. I use it probably when I go for some places that I don't know, finding out what's the best restaurant or something. But I would never use it for like a song idea or something. That's not real. That's not gonna be what we want. I think that's also not what what people like to hear. They want to hear an artist. They want to hear human music. So we're definitely not going to use it for writing or writing lyrics or writing music. That's not going to be. It's not fair to the people, you know. They can do it themselves rather than listening to Helloween if they want to have like something like this, you know.
I agree, and we've struggled with it at Masters Radio, where we're trying to
Yeah,
get established artists heard because they're not on the major elements. You know, you get
yeah.
new.
It's and there's just a discussion about it now because there was a band actually not existing, but they're sold it as a band, and it has like million of clicks and million of
Oh yeah,
follow us, and it's not even a band, it's not even the
Nope.
guys in the band, it's the music done by the AI, and it's the guys done with the with an AI, or and then they decided, they put it on the media everywhere and without saying it. Or I mean, that's, if you say it to the people, if you tell them the truth and say this is a joke, this is for fun, I did this because I had some time, spare time left over, but you cannot betray the people with it, you know. I, well, we don't really use it, and I think it's not going to be allowed to make a song like this and then get the claim for it, for your credits. You know, that's not allowed, I guess,
So
as
so
far
far
as
that's
I
the
know.
case in the United
I
States.
think they're
Yes.
still
Yeah.
working on laws like this. You know, they're not. The AI is faster than they would make laws for it or against it or with it or something. It's faster than they can decide.
Yeah, I do think that there's never going to be a replacement for human creativity. I think that there's a way, and some artists that we've talked to are using it. Jordan Rudess is from Dream Theater, who's always been engaged in technology and music.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
He's on Suno doing these little cool ideas. Now they're never going to be put on a Theater record, but
Hmm.
it's sort of help him creatively engage. And what we're doing is having fans, let's say fans who love Halloween music, are able to come up with a song idea and say, "You make me a Halloween styled song." Sort of battle amongst each other to say, who's got the best one. And we're going
It's
to
it's kind
Halloween
of
and see if they like it.
it's kind of spooky, isn't it? And then they do a Halloween type of song out of the machine, you know. What if the machine gets better than you are?
Well, it's just it. Can it ever get better? I don't think so. It can get different, but I don't
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I had this guy talking about it. They checked it out. He was doing. It was a piano player writing half a song, and then telling the machine to finish the song, and he was just playing his piano, and the attacks he gave, that this machine would kind of analyze, and the stuff he already did, they would kind of make melodies in his kind of ideas in a way. And he said, well, it's not done by me, I would have done it a little different, but it could have been what I would have written. You know, it's working. It's very spooky. Yeah,
And you're right that we're not really prepared for it. And I think we
yeah, yeah,
it's about what we let this
yeah,
dictate and what we don't.
yeah.
Um,
But
this,
it's like, yeah, it's like there were movies about the machines are taking over, you know, already, and then they can start controlling us.
right. Yes. Yes. In fact, my son was saying, when does Skynet start? You know, from the
Yeah,
Terminator.
yeah, that's it. That's it. It's all so close,
Won't
you
you
know.
tell me? You know.
Yeah,
So he, um, I think one of the things that it presents as an opportunity is for fans to engage with the artists they love in a different way than they have before.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
But
likes and
it has
follows.
some, yeah, yeah. It has some good sides. You can use it for fun. You can use it for. I mean, there's some business point of view where you can use it. I have a very good friend. I go fish. I go out fishing with him. He's a doctor, and he says it's very good for doctors to help people getting healthy, or analyze what happened to your body, or because he has like a bank of full of informations from all over the world now, to see what his patients are suffering with, and that's good for them, of course. Therefore you got a hell of an improvement in terms of healing people, something he said. And there on that side, it might be a very good idea using it, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
For
Plenty,
example. Yeah,
plenty of places where it gets abused, just like any new technology. Uh,
yeah. Mhm.
is when drum machines came out, and everybody
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Oh, that's the end of drummers." Oh,
Yeah,
no, drummers are the only ones who know what a good drum sound is.
yeah, yeah, that's it. Mm. But it's always like when there's something new, they gonna try it, they're gonna make it till they also overdo it when it first comes out. So everybody use it, and everybody use it in a very heavy way, not as an effect, but it was there, and it was kind of overdone till nobody could hear it anymore, till everybody thought that's enough.
So we spoke earlier of that it is easier to travel. On that note, is there a U.S. tour in the future?
I think we're doing Europe now for like in October we start doing it's September, October, end of September, 5 or 6 weeks of Europe. Then we have Christmas, January, February, March, maybe March, April, May. We'll maybe out in Japan, Asia, Indonesia, Korea, Kuala Lumpur is on the list this time, and then we come into North America and South America. Yeah.
Oh, it's a problem.
That's it.
Possibly this
Around that
time
time.
next year,
Yeah,
maybe.
around that time, maybe 30 gigs or something like that. Do
Okay.
the good old rock and roll thing.
USA. Yep. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
Two other things, of course, besides Halloween. I was intrigued to read about Bass Invaders.
That was a funny idea of mine because when Lemmy was still amongst us, God bless him, we were touring. We were touring a lot of festivals. We were doing a lot of festivals the last couple of years, and there was always like Halloween, uh, Saxon, and Motorhead on the bill. And now watching Motorhead, watching Lemmy from the side of the stage, you're listening to his bass sound. It was inspiring me for that project, thinking, wow, he doesn't really need a guitar player anymore having a sound like this. Because he's playing like that very dirty guitarish kind of bass sound, and that actually inspires me to do a record without any guitars at all.
It's a very interesting record. I forgot what it's called.
It's just Markus Grosskopf's Bass Invaders, the bass
It's a
beaters
Bass Invaders, so we'll put a
paradise.
note to find that.
Yeah. And I got another project now going on with the upright bass, because I'm a big Stray Cat fan and do some swing type of rock and rollish Billy music. It's called the Fireball Monkeys. It will
Fireball
be
Monkeys.
the Fireball Monkeys will come out next year somewhere in Japan, I guess. I did it with a friend. I did it with like mm, Jan Eggert from Iron Savior.
Okay. All right. Great.
He's singing, playing guitar. I do the upright bass. I just like the challenge from all of this, doing it. We wrote some songs. It's recorded. It's been done, and I just like the challenge of it.
Yeah. Who needs
It's
frets,
fun.
right?
It's fun.
Who needs frets? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But to be true, I have little dots on the side of the neck because it's so different playing 40 years playing the electric bass and then starting the upright bass. You never know where you are, so I had little marks on the sides, which is cool enough. I'm not a jazz player. I play rock and roll allows you anything.
It's funny that music's coming back. We just had a guy who was big in the '60s,
Yeah,
uh, Amy James, on our podcast earlier this week, and
yeah.
player and songwriter. But he says and he agreed that every few years, maybe every 10 to 20 years, what we call rockabilly, but this sort of fast-paced blues, upright
Yeah,
bass,
kind of
guitar,
swinging
straight cats.
60s, swinging 50s, 60s kind of thing. That's what I kind of love. I would call it rock and rollabilly swinging blues
Yeah,
or
exactly. Yeah.
something. Rock and
Blues,
rollabilly swing attack, or what do I know?
cat sound. Yeah. So
Rhythm, rock and rollabilly rhythm swing, whatsoever.
rockabilly rhythm swing. Yeah, I
And
like.
yeah, that comes from I hear my bands and then like Black Sabbath and all those old bands. It's a musical journey. You start asking yourself, oh, what was their first album and what was their influences? They're being much older than me. It would be interesting to find out what was their influence at that time. And you're ending up listening to Chuck Berry and Elvis and all that,
End of
which
the
is
day, it
cool.
all goes back to And then before that, a lot of
Yeah,
other
and even before that,
who
there
never.
was like the barn guitar. Maybe that's what I bought. It was like the Sega box guitar. You play with a slide. I bought one of these and find it very, very cool, riffing around with it, and sliding and giving it the blues.
We may hear some interesting stuff from that from you.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of like to fool around with this stuff.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we'll be in touch about the record when it comes out, because that's what we're here for, is to play new music from artists like you, because it won't get played, unfortunately, in a lot of places.
We see what happened with it. It's just like you can never expect anything from it. It's doing good or not. The Bass Invaders was like a lot of people complained about. Yeah, oh, there's no guitars on it, but then it's supposed to be without guitars. It's an experiment.
Right. Yeah. And even some old recording techniques are coming back, single mic
Yeah,
in the room, with all the
yeah.
players around it, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's good to go back every now and then and see where this all came from.
Yeah,
Always
I like that journey. I like that musical journey from Sun Records recordings. You could hear all this, like when Elvis and all those people went to Sun Records recording without a drum, and they had to slap the bass to make it percussive. Kind of, it sounds so great. Those old recordings, Johnny Cash and all that stuff. I kind of like it. I like metal is the way I'm impressing myself, but I'm also interesting from where it all came from in that sense.
exactly. And the point to be made there is the new record shows a lot of those influences, because Marcus is not alone. His other band
Yeah, it's all coming back.
and metal's been around long enough that it has its own second or maybe even third
Yeah,
generation
yeah, yeah, yeah,
sound. There's a lot of Judas. I hear a lot of early
yeah, yeah. and, and you can
Scorpions, I would say.
and you can see it in the audience, that the parents coming with their kids being 17, 18 years old, and they bought like one or two of them last Helloween albums. They go back to listen to what we did before, and they come to the Walls of Jericho. They go like into Slayer and Exciter and whatsoever.
Yeah,
And whatever was there at that time, and then they go back to the musical journey.
as you said, there's 17 of them to choose from. So, folks,
Yeah.
we've been speaking with Markus Grosskopf of Helloween, and Helloween has a 40-year portfolio of great heavy metal.
I can't believe it myself.
What we're talking about today is Giants and Monsters, available August 29th. We have links to buy it in the show notes. You heard the man say possibly this time next year there might be a tour in the North America. We'll
Yeah, yeah.
about that. Marcus, thank you so much. I really
All right. It's been my pleasure.
with us today. And stick around for just a second. And folks, please keep on listening to Masters Radio. Keep supporting artists like Marcus. And we thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. It's